This is an LEX-18 News Decision 2011 Special Report.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Nancy Cox.
And I'm Kevin Christopher. Welcome to this special LEX-18 News coverage of Decision 2011. Today, voters went to the polls to make their voices heard in the race for governor and 5 other statewide offices.
So let's begin with the race for governor, pitting the incumbent against the Senate president and a perennial candidate who's no stranger to voters. We begin looking at the statewide numbers, and we have called this race for incumbent governor Steve Beshear with 57% of the vote over Republican Senate President David Williams with 31% and independent perennial candidate Gatewood Galbraith with 12%. Those are the Fayette County results showing you how the candidates fared here in Fayette County. The margin much closer between David Williams and Gatewood Galbraith here locally in Fayette County.
We have crews covering all 3 gubernatorial campaigns. So let's begin with LEX-18's Adam Baker. He is live at Beshear headquarters, the Civic Center in Frankfort, where the party is underway. Adam?
It sure is, Kevin. Still no sign of Governor Steve Beshear yet, but a bunch of his friends are here. You can tell that they are starting to hear the news. They are very excited about all this. And when the governor does finally come out here, it sounds like he will have a lot to celebrate. From the time the doors opened at the Convention Center in Frankfort, state Democrats were ready for the victory to come pouring down.
Today we're asking the voters for 4 more years to finish this job.
All-day polls look good for the governor, who voted with his wife, First Lady Jane Beshear, at a church in Clark County. His running mate, former Louisville Mayor Jerry Abramson, says Beshear will use the next 4 years to continue adding jobs to Kentucky. And Abramson says he can help do that too.
I hope I can bring some value with my 25 years of local government experience and the kinds of things that we've dealt with in terms of job creation and support with education and investment in infrastructure and the kinds of things that really make an enhanced quality of life for all Kentuckians.
Now they just wait for their win to drop. The moment could be just minutes away here. We are waiting for the official announcement here at headquarters. Everyone here standing by. The stage is set behind me here for Governor Steve Beshear. We are just waiting for him to take stage and begin his victory speech. We will, of course, be here for that, and we'll wrap it all up tonight at 11. For now, though, we're covering the news live in Frankfort from the LEX-18 mobile newsroom. Back to you.
Earlier this week, Senate President David Williams said he wasn't putting any faith in the polls that had him down 25 points. But it looks like the mood now, though, could be changed at the Republican camp. Let's go live to LEX-18's Nikki Burdine, live in Lexington.
Nancy, the Republican headquarters here at the Marriott in Lexington are filling up fast. You can see supporters out here behind me are filling up the room, hoping for the best and hoping for an upset.
Year and 2 months. I've worked really hard. I think the agenda that we put forward, the real plan for real jobs, is a winning agenda for Kentucky.
But is it enough? Williams took time this morning, of course, to vote and help his mother vote in Cumberland County.
It's been a long and difficult campaign, and I'm very appreciative of all those people that have come out.
The eternal optimist, Williams says he's proud of the campaign he and his running mate, Farmer, have put on, sticking to the issues.
I think these sort of changes in our tax structure, our unemployment insurance, have to be made if we're going to be competitive with other states.
Something else Williams hopes to have on his side, low voter turnout, which experts have said is very likely.
Who knows? It just depends on where it is. If it in areas where I'm stronger, better known, it's helpful. If it's in other areas, who knows what the turnout is.
And now here we're still waiting on Williams and Farmer if they're going to come down and give a speech, what they're going to say. But again, supporters still here. We will keep you updated on Decision 2011. Covering the election live in Lexington from the LEX-18 mobile newsroom. Back to you.
And joining us for Decision 2011, as always, our political analyst, Farrell Wellman. Farrell, for David Williams, nothing worked. We expected a big victory by the Democrats virtually across the board. Starting at the top of the ticket with Steve Beshear, David Williams could not shed the bully of Burkesville tag. Even a seductive message like eliminating the state income tax and the addition of an unforgettable on his ticket just couldn't get it done.
He never got any traction on anything. And you mentioned the tax issue. Perfect example. He was for tax reform. Governor Beshear says now isn't the time to change taxes. He never got any traction. He had an opportunity to lighten up his image, passed on those opportunities, particularly in some live interviews on KET. Now, while this won't be a memorable election for David Williams, it is memorable in one sense. $4 million in contributions to David Williams' campaign. Actually, not to his campaign, but to two groups supporting David Williams. This money came from Terry Stevens, a Russell Springs business person who happens to be David Williams' father-in-law. One man, $4 million in this governor's race. Unprecedented. Some people said it was an example of a wealthy individual trying to buy the governor's race. Others said it was a pure exercise of legal First Amendment rights. Regardless, it's precedent setting. Meanwhile, on the other side, Beshear raised $10 million. Obama, the Republicans kept running this as though it were a Washington race, a race to go to the White House. Obama was brought up constantly, even Rand Paul in his phone messages, telling people to vote against Beshear and Conway because it was a vote for Obama. Legislative friction, what's going to happen now? Will David Williams keep his presidency in the state Senate? What will his already very rocky relationship be when he and the governor have to deal with legislative issues just a few months from now and the state faces this bleak financial picture?
Quickly, Gatewood Galbraith. He ran well in Fayette County, but he continually tried to bring up some good issues in this race. He talked taxes, he talked jobs. Never got his voice heard, never added much to that debate, do you think?
No, he couldn't really, because other than free media, Gatewood didn't have an outlet. He could not afford any paid television advertising, newspapers, direct mail. He didn't have a broad network. One thing parties always have in their advantage compared to independents, there's a network of people around the state willing to get the vote out for you. Gate just didn't have that. All
right. Thanks, Farrell Wellman.
Well, he's certainly a familiar name in Kentucky politics. He is Lexington attorney and once again candidate for governor, Gatewood Galbraith. LEX-18's Josh Breslow is live at Galbraith headquarters in Lexington, where admittedly this was Gatewood's last rodeo. Josh.
Yeah, and while the race has been called, Gatewood supporters are still having a good time and the party is still going on. You can see over here the band is still playing and people aren't down. And I talked to Gatewood earlier on tonight and he said he was staying optimistic. It's the fifth time to be a charm. Gatewood Galbraith, the independent candidate for Kentucky governor, greeting his supporters as they enter Lexington's Crown Point Hotel, waiting and watching as those results pour in.
I mean, I don't care who scores the winning touchdown. I don't care who crosses the goal line with these ideas.
Gatewood, a Lexington attorney, has run several times for the governor's spot, a total of 5 over the years. You may remember in the last election in 2007, Gatewood tried for the Democratic nomination, but of course that went to our current governor, Steve Beshear. This time, Gatewood, along with running mate Dee Riley, are labeling themselves as independents. They say Kentucky has quite a few issues that need fixing, and they feel Democrats and Republicans are constantly bickering and just can't get anything done.
I understand the turnout was, I heard one word used, meager, and I think that cuts our way because our people want change, they're committed to change, and they're committed to actually getting out to the polls.
Gatewood has remained optimistic throughout the campaign and even had some bold predictions early in the night.
I think it's going to be 40 for us, 38 for Beshear, and 22 for Williams.
He was not right with those predictions, but again, this party is continuing here, and really we're just waiting at this point for Gatewood to come give a speech. He did tell me earlier on tonight that he does not plan to run if he lost, so it looks like he will not be running again, but that's another question I will ask him later on tonight, and hopefully we'll have that for you later on. We are covering the news live in Lexington from the LEX-18 mobile newsroom. Back to you.
So possibly the last race for a colorful figure in Kentucky politics, certainly. Thank you, Josh Breslow, live from the Gatewood Galbraith campaign. Well, 2011 has produced some interesting political stories, even revisiting one of the big ones from 2010. Kevin is here with a look back.
Well, Nancy, Attorney General Jack Conway's Republican challenger, Todd Peepool, reminded Kentuckians of that infamous attack ad aired by the Democratic incumbent in his failed run for the Senate last year. Peepool ran this TV commercial that dredges up memories of Conway's Aqua Buddha ad that attacked Republican Rand Paul. Now, in the 2010 ad, Conway focused on allegations Paul was affiliated during college with a group that mocked Christianity and worshiped a god he called Aqua Buddha. The ad says Conway embarrassed Kentucky nationally with a personal attack, but it didn't matter much tonight. 2011 brought trouble for the Kentucky Ag Commission candidate who made jokes about Eastern Kentuckians. In June, we told you how the Democratic judge executive of the state's largest county says Bob Farmer was no longer welcome in Pike County. And after viewing a YouTube video posted by his opponent, Farmer, who's a comedian and writer, said it was ridiculous for Republicans to call for his withdrawal because of his jokes during a comedy performance years ago. He also repeated his apology, saying he was sorry if he offended anyone, but Farmer a loser today. Just last week, David Williams criticized Steve Beshear for participating in a Hindu ceremony that marked an Indian company's entry into the state. On Tuesday, Williams said he would have attended but not participated in the ceremony in Elizabethtown. The Republican also suggested that Beshear, who's the son and grandson of Baptist preachers, engaged in idolatry by taking part in the event. Religious leaders demanded an apology from Williams, and Beshear's campaign denounced the attack as pathetic and desperate, saying the governor was proud of creating 250 jobs in the central Kentucky city. Williams later issued a statement saying, quote, "I have no problem with anyone practicing their religion, but I don't agree with Governor Beshear's record of opposing Christian displays," end quote. And in late September, Governor Beshear's claims about his record on creating jobs came into question. The Lexington Herald leader ran a story saying Beshear frequently credited himself with creating or retaining more than 19,000 Kentucky jobs, but that some of those jobs didn't exist. However, the Beshear campaign told the newspaper, quote, "The numbers are accurate and we stand by them." Today, the voters stood by their governor. Nancy, back to you.